I'd like to thank the disabled American veterans for this tremendous honor of being named the Department of Veterans Affairs Health Administration Employee of the Year. I'm truly humbled by it, but I want you to know that I'm accepting it not on my behalf, but on behalf of the more than 24 dedicated clinicians and scientists who are pursuing original work at the Advanced Platform Technology Center in the Rehabilitation R&D service of the VA. My personal line of research, which is a small fraction of what we do at the APT Center, focuses on mobility after paralysis from spinal cord injury, stroke, or multiple sclerosis. We excite the nerves that remain intact in the paralyzed limb, and those nerves cause their associated muscles to contract. And by combining the actions of a number of different muscles, we can get a useful movement out of the otherwise paralyzed limb. To stand out of their wheelchairs, facilitate a few steps in environments that aren't adapted, to remain stable and balanced in their wheelchair so they can use both hands to interact, manipulate objects in the environment. We also use similar techniques to provide new options to exercise after paralysis. As you can imagine, the large muscles of your hips and lower extremities, they're unable to be exercised by other means, and therefore we can promote overall health and general well-being, improve the function of the cardiovascular system and muscle bulk by getting them to contract and improving their strength and endurance. And just imagine what it's like to be paralyzed and to ride a bike outside in the community and be seen by people as just another person out on a spin. We're also exploiting this technique of activating the nervous system to provide sensation to veterans with limb loss. And the notion is, if we can excite the sensory nerves that are still in the residual limb, we can kind of fool the brain into thinking that the user of this technology feels their phantom foot in contact with the ground. So we think this approach has a lot of potential to help making veterans with limb loss more stable, to help them walk in crowded environments, to help them prevent falls, and to just make them all around more functional in society. So with that, I'd like again to thank the DAV, to say it's been a pleasure working with our VSO reps from the DAV in Cleveland, and I hope that this marks the beginning of a long continuation of that productive collaboration as we pursue our goals together. Before I leave, I'd like to introduce you to someone very important to me. This, many of you may recognize as a G.I. Joe, circa the late 1960s. I had a conversation with my sons last Christmas over what their favorite Christmas present was. They told me theirs and asked me what mine was. Well, it was Joe. They, of course, took him from me and started playing with him themselves, and in the course of that, they were a little rough and Joe lost his foot. Joe's now a transtibial amputee, and my one son said, well, he's not a G.I. Joe anymore. Now he's a VA Joe. So I keep VA Joe on my shelf to make sure that my effort and my vision and our mission are aligned with those of the DAV, and to continuously remind me that we're here to help the men and women who served our country.